Local 12's Chelsea Sick is live with the district's concerns and what they're now asking of local police departments. Chelsea.
Well, that video appears that a U-Haul pulled up right here on South Cooper Court here behind me with an Evendale police officer right in front of it. Now, just to put things into perspective, this was right in front of the Lockland Educational Annex you see there behind me. There were students there. Now, the Lockland superintendent says they were aware of the demonstration happening over in Evendale, but they had no idea they'd made it here to Lockland.
Not only were they here 4 minutes from dismissal of every preschool through 4th grade student that we serve in our school district.
Lockland school leaders are on edge after a U-Haul believed to be holding a group of armed demonstrators were right outside their doors. Video provided by Lockland Schools shows an Evendale police officer and U-Haul getting off the exit of I-75 in Lockland just before 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. The officer then pulls down South Cooper Court right next to the Lockland Educational Annex. The officer gets out of his cruiser and talks to occupants in the truck. Lockland superintendent says they weren't notified by police.
And in the event that we knew that there was a dangerous situation on any of our campuses, specifically that day, we would have immediately locked down our campus.
Lockland Chief Michael Ott says Evendale police never notified them that the group was in Lockland.
Clearly, we would have notified the school if we had that information.
At 3 o'clock, the Evendale police officer pulls off. 2 minutes later, the U-Haul pulls out of the parking lot. This school let out at 3:05. The Lockland School Board is now calling for an independent third-party review of the actions of the Lockland and Evendale police departments that afternoon.
The safety and security of our students were both compromised last week as a result of this incident, and our Board of Education and myself as the superintendent, we cannot take that lightly.
I emailed Evendale Chief Tim Holloway and stopped by the police department this afternoon to ask him about the video. I was told he was not available for an interview. The Lockland chief says an after-action review is underway amongst Lockland and Evendale Police and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office.
We're working with all local law enforcement agencies just to fully investigate what happened so that we can work together to make sure something like that doesn't happen again.
The Lockland School Board did release a full statement. We have that right now on local12.com. Just click on my story on the home page. There you will also find the surveillance video the district released today.
So you all just heard that news clip right there, and I didn't get a chance to talk about this story at length, but I did touch on it at the end of one of my live streams that I did a couple weeks ago. And I just kind of tapped on it a little bit, but I didn't go completely into it. I didn't do a live on it. I didn't do a video on it, but that doesn't mean I wasn't aware. But this is stemming from the event that occurred where you had some neo-Nazi members go onto a bridge, like an overpass in Cincinnati, Lincoln Heights in Ohio. And they tried to, I guess, demonstrate whatever the case may be. And they chose the wrong place and the wrong day to do that because them black folks out there got wind of it and it turned into a whole altercation and they basically ran them off the block. And the thing that a lot of people were talking about was how the police just seemed to be giving them all types of protection. Like it was always this hunch that when they looked at that, they said, why aren't the police doing anything to them and getting them off the bridge? I mean, they are literally blocking traffic. Now, let me just also say this. Remember when Ron the Snowflake down there in Florida said if there was any type of protest or demonstration that people had a right to quote unquote deal with it how they see fit? And I'm just paraphrasing, but y'all pretty much get the gist of it if you remember what he said. Now, granted, this is not in Florida, but they are blocking a public transit area that people have to drive over. It's not like they're walking there, and I'm almost certain that they did not have a permit from the city to engage in this, but yet you had the police there protecting them. And the hunch that people had was that police were most likely involved with them. Some might have been police officers themselves, and they gave them the ultimate protection. Well, after listening to this rather, I think people who had the hunch that police were involved might actually be correct, because as you heard from the audio, they're saying that there was this U-Haul truck, and you can see it in the pictures. There was a U-Haul truck that was driving around, and it ended up at a parking lot or an area outside of a local school there. And in that truck were the members who were there wearing the neo-Nazi attire, and they were all hauled up in the back of that U-Haul truck. Now you got to ask yourself this question: why would they take a U-Haul truck full of people like that and park it outside of where a local school is? You know, where kids go to school at. It was most likely, I can't remember if it was a school day or not, but either way, why would they go there? And like I said, going back to the protection thing that they were given, now people's accusations or allegations rather of them cops being there or cops being involved, it has actually heightened. And it's not any surprise, because one thing we've learned over the years is that the Klan has long traded in their hood that they used to always wear back in the day for police uniforms, doctor's coats, judge robes, suits, ties, briefcases, six-figure paying jobs, so on and so forth. That way they can better blend in with society, and also so they can have a way to maneuver without being seen. It's almost like one of the things you got to kind of get caught. Remember when Micah Johnson did his thing back in 2016 down there in Texas? Well, people were so upset with what he did, but what they failed to realize is that when they did some digging on at least one of those cops, I think it might have been two, but one that sticks out to me for certain is that one of those cops was actually inside of one of those white supremacist forums or one of those white supremacist groups on Facebook. So that just, for many people, wasn't a loss, and he was a cop. So, you know, it is what it is. And the thing is, when Micah Johnson did his thing, it was not, I don't think he had a target that he was going after. It was just a random thing. It's just that one of the people that he hit, that he got out of here, just happened to be a white supremacist. He was a part of these groups. And I'm sure, and that's why a lot of them wear their face coverings the way that they do. Is more than just something for an image thing, or they're trying to, you know, like a costume. It is a costume. But a lot of them are wearing that covering because many of them have these jobs like being cops and being lawyers and all this type of stuff. And see, the thing is, they wear one face in front of you, but behind closed doors, they're wearing another face. That is literally the epitome and definition of a two-faced individual. And you saw the black people when they went out there and handled them. The black people didn't have no face coverings on. They didn't have no mask on. None of that. Their face was bare. They let you know who it was and who it is. They did not care. But when it happened, and notice too, a lot of the times whenever something like this happens, how whenever if they catch these hands, if they catch those hands, they're grabbing onto their face masks so their faces don't get revealed. Like they'll take the hits to any part of their body, but they don't want their faces revealed. This is why many of us call them cowards, because that's exactly who they are. And then if you didn't catch me talking about it in the live, after they dealt with them later on that night, they came back and went and actually into those neighborhoods and started breaking the windows in the cars of the people in those neighborhoods. And the very next day, black people was out there armed to the teeth, ready for them if they was going to try to spin the block. But notice they didn't come back though, because it was the daytime. They went there at night when no one was outside. Most people were inside sleeping. So there you go. But as far as this goes, I'm not in the least bit surprised, and I won't be in the least bit surprised either if the hunch is indeed correct that it was some cops that was involved with this. No, I mean, when you look throughout history, it's not far-fetched. And looking at these images and hearing that news story, it's not that far off based on what we've seen in the past and what we're still currently seeing now.